Rio Ferdinand makes prediction for Manchester Derby after Man City lose again. Hey, football fans are ready for Derby news. Grab a cup of coffee and settle down for this game analyze of pundits. Manchester City face Manchester United this weekend. Can Man United parasite on Man City defeats and got 3-point and Ruben Amorim cringe 2 victory over Pep Guardiola with 2 different teams? Rio Ferdinand has backed Manchester United to pile the pressure on struggling Manchester City in this weekend's derby after Pep Guardiola's side lost again in the Champions League. Man City's shocking run of form continued on Wednesday night as the Premier League champions were beaten 2-0 by Juventus. The defeat means City have now won just one of their last 10 games in all competitions and leaves them in a perilous position down in 22nd in the Champions League group phase with 2 games remaining. Bidding to lift a record-extending 5th successive Premier League trophy, Manchester City's dismal run has left the champions 4th in the English top flight, 8 points behind Liverpool, who also have a game in hand. Guardiola's side play host to local rivals Manchester United this weekend, and Ferdinand believes it could be another difficult afternoon for Man City. United travel to the Etihad Stadium sitting 13th in the Premier League and having lost their last 2 games under Erik ten Hag's replacement Ruben Amorim. Speaking after City lost to a Juventus side currently just 6th in Serie A, Ferdinand told TNT Sports, "Man City couldn't ask for a better game than the one that's coming up this weekend, by the way. The Manchester Derby. If they want to get themselves back on track, beating United won't reinstall every bit of confidence and paper over all the cracks, but it will go a long way to reinvigorating this team and squad if they were to get a result. But I'm backing the mighty Reds. They're in great form as well, by the way. It's a battle of no confidence." Manchester City had almost 70% of the ball at the Allianz Stadium, but were down by second-half goals from Juventus' Dusan Vlahovic and Weston McKennie. After watching City's malaise continue, Pat Nevin told BBC Radio 5 Live, "The saddest thing about Manchester City tonight is, are you really shocked? I'm not. The way they have been playing recently, the tiredness, we know about the injuries, playing players he'd rather rest. At the moment, it's just hell on hell for Manchester City supporters. They look to me like a team that is not capable of doing it at the intensity they need to do it, at the top level to win these games week after week." City midfielder Ilkay Gundogan, meanwhile, said, "It's very disappointing. We had chances to score a few goals, but at the moment it feels like every attack we concede is just so dangerous. I don't know, I have a feeling sometimes we are a bit careless with duels. Instead of playing simple, we overcomplicate things and we miss the right timing to release the ball. Just lose the ball and give them counter-attacks. We are built for possession. Keep the ball, be strong. If you can't do anything, don't lose it. At the moment, it's not working out for us." Man City struggles are not coming like that. They have faced many injuries this season rather than other seasons they have played in Pep Guardiola, and they are missed their Ballon d'Or winners Rodrigo, a midfielder pivot, and he will miss Derby too cause he hasn't recovered yet. And also their 3 centre-backs. Manuel Akanji, Nathan Ake, Rico Lewis and John Stones are out. That mean that their defense will be led by Ruben Dias, Javardiol, Kyle Walker, an academic player cause Rico Lewis last weekend got double yellow card. About Man United, there is no more injuries except Luke Shaw, other Miss player who were out last PL match, trained with team in this week at Carrington. Ruben Amorim. Pep Guardiola so much better than me right now. Ruben Amorim attempted to play down expectations at Manchester United, insisting he is not yet on the level of Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola, despite leading current club Sporting CP to a 4-1 victory over City in the Champions League on Tuesday. Amorim, who took over Man United's new management on November 11th, endeared himself to fans of his new club by leading his soon-to-be former side to a stunning win in Lisbon. Ahead of his final home game in charge of Sporting after more than 4 years, Amorim had quipped that United fans will think that the new Sir Alex Ferguson has arrived if he was able to lead Sporting to victory over City, one of the favourites for the European title. While that might be too strong, after all, Ferguson is regarded as one of soccer's greatest managers after his trophy-laden spell at Old Trafford from 1986 to 2013. United supporters might be thinking they finally have a coach who can bring the good times back to a club that have lost their way since Ferguson's departure more than a decade ago. Someone who can take on and beat City's esteemed manager Pep Guardiola, too. "He's so much better than me at the moment," Amorim said, "but I believe a lot in my new club. We will start from a low level and we will improve the team, the club, especially if Amorim eventually brings Victor Gyökeres with him to Manchester. The Sweden striker led Sporting's fight back from a goal down at Estadio José Alvalade by netting a hat trick, including 2 penalties, in a stunning result in the 4th round of league games in the revamped competition. That's 23 goals in 17 games for Gyökeres this season. Ruben Amorim and Pep Guardiola will soon be rivals in Manchester derby. Amorim has already said he wouldn't look to sign Gyökeres in January, but expects the striker to be heading to a bigger team at the end of the season. Victor has to stay until the end of the season, Amorim said, and then his life maybe is going somewhere else. Sporting fans unfurled a huge banner ahead of kickoff bearing the message, Obrigado, thank you, Ruben Amorim, 5 days after the 39-year-old coach signed to become the new United manager. His first game in charge was against Ipswich Town after the international break, and next weekend, he is going up against Guardiola and City again in Manchester derby. He knows the challenge will be a bigger one to that in Lisbon, where he says he has enjoyed the best phase of his life. When I'm at the next club, the approach will have to be different. Not much is taken from here because we will have to play differently in the future, he said. Both are historic clubs. It will certainly be a different game. He has already vowed not to read the newspapers once he arrives in England. I'm certainly not going to read anything for 6 months. I did the same at Sporting. I'm not going to read anything or have access to anything. It's the only way to do my job, he said. Amorim was thrown in the air by Sporting's players after the game and walked around the field with the team in a farewell to fans. Of course we will miss him a lot. We have done amazing things together, Gyökeres said of Amorim, who has led Sporting to 2 Portuguese league titles in his 4 full seasons at the club. We have to look forward to the next challenge ahead of us. But first of all, we have another game in Sunday. And on the future for Sporting, he said his replacement will inherit a strong foundation. The coach who comes will have a good legacy. Above all, there will be a structured club, which has won in recent years, and an intelligent audience that will realize that it will be necessary to give the next coach time to fine-tune some things. In ending City's record 26-game unbeaten run in the Champions League, Sporting also consigned the Premier League champions to a 3rd straight loss in all competitions, and that hasn't happened since April 2018. Erling Haaland missed a penalty in the 69th minute for City when the score was 3-1. City had taken the lead through Phil Foden in the 4th minute. It was written because the first half was very tough on us, Amorim said. We were very lucky, but then the second half we scored twice in the first minutes and the environment, everything helped us. LT was an amazing night. Question for fans. Can Ruben Amorim pocket 2 victory over Pep Guardiola and Man City? Thank you, guys, for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and insights.